Hello, everybody. I am Hunter Marckwardt, and I am the host of Impactful Thoughts. And I am here with I think I'd call you a dear friend at this point, wouldn't I?
I would. Hey, I think so.
Okay. So I'm here with John Israel, also known, many people watching this, I would think, at this stage of John's success would know him as Mr. Thank You. And this call today is a combination, I would call it strategic gratitude. Is that a fair? I think that's it,
Mm,
right?
I
I mean,
love that.
just,
I love that. That's
hey,
great.
yeah, this is very unrehearsed. John and I have talked enough times where we literally, both of us just enjoy the concept of gratitude, what it does for you. How do you scale it? You know, what does it do to your mind? What does it do to your heart? And then you put
Mhm.
tactics around that, and you show people that you care about gratitude. Actually, you show strangers gratitude and how it all reverberates and comes back. I would say in I would, a profitable a profitable life in both. You know, sometimes that can be opportunities that it presents you. A lot of times it's just how you feel in your heart. So, John, thank you, brother.
Man, I'm grateful to be here.
You got anything to say out of the gates? You want me to just start pounding away?
Yeah, man, go for it.
So let's
Let's do
give.
it.
I mean, people know your. Give me the two. Give me the 3 to 5 minute version of the Mr. Thank You or the thank you, the gratitude project, the Mr. Thank You. How you came to
Yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, so just to give some background on me for anyone who doesn't know, so Mr. Thank You is my company. So we are a strategic gifting company. So we help people say thank you for a living, whether it be closing gifts, referral gifts. You know, we've been doing that since 2009, which was a great time to get into real estate, as you know, Hunter. Um,
Yeah, perfect.
and we suffered and struggled and but fortunately I wasn't married. I was living on top ramen at the time. So by the time 2014 2015 came about, like we actually built a really lucrative and very successful business. We had gifting clients all over the country, major brands, and it was an interesting moment where 2016 I got everything on paper I ever said I wanted. Right, I was married, we bought our first house, we had our first child, but I was over it. I was overworked, overwhelmed, and just so unhappy. I was ready to walk away from all of it, everything I spent my career building. And it all came to a headway when I came home one day. And it's an interesting visual because my wife is sitting on our couch. She's nursing our infant son in one hand, and she's handwriting a thank you card in the other hand to some people who supported her during her pregnancy. And it was one of the objectively most beautiful things I'd ever seen. And I couldn't appreciate it because I was so stressed and overwhelmed from my job. Like I couldn't appreciate anything. And I don't know how to describe what happened next, except for to say that, I think God spoke to my wife that day and said something I'll never forget, which is if you can't appreciate what you have now, who's to say you'll be any happier when you finally get what you say you want? And I think that like that just broke me because I had everything I said I wanted, but I still wasn't happy. And so I don't know about you, Hunter, but I think as achievers, we get so excited about the next deal, the next client, the next lead, and we hope it's going to get us finally that fulfillment, that happiness, but it just wasn't happening. And the problem, I didn't have a name for it at the time, but I do now. That I had, it's called perpetual discontentment. Perpetual discontentment, which is the never-ending feeling that what is isn't enough. And when I share that idea with audiences, when I speak at companies, so many high producers like come up to me afterwards and they're like, "Dude, you just literally described my problem. Like you
Yeah.
described my life right there." So it really kind of was an interesting insight that a lot of people, especially performers, high achievers, struggle with this. And so to summarize it from there, I just decided, hey, what if I made a commitment? Like my business is all about gratitude, right? But I have become the most ungrateful gratitude salesman on planet Earth. So, like, how do we fix that? And so I remember that moment with my wife and seeing her write that handwritten card and seeing how peaceful and joyful she was at that time. What you might not know, Hunter, she was actually going through her own gratitude project at the time. And she was just writing letters to people who supported her during her pregnancy. Nothing bigger than that. And so I thought, well, what if I do that? Like, what if I just make a commitment around handwritten cards every day? And that became the genesis of what became the Mr. Thank You project, where I committed to handwrite 5 thank you cards every single day for 365 days in a row. And that turned into a book, a TED Talk, a global movement, and really the basis of all the work I get to do today, which is really teaching, gratitude as a competitive advantage to companies.
It's amazing. Just when you say perpetual discontentment, I'm curious now. You're 10 years into this, right?
Yeah.
As far as the I would say phase two of John Israel, maybe phase three at this point. But do you struggle with any of that today?
I would say yes, but a lot shorter, right?
Okay,
So I think that it's natural.
because I do. I mean, my family's like, Dad, what? I mean, everything I've hit, it didn't create the feeling I thought it was going to create, right?
Yeah, totally. And so I think that there is a reality of, well, what actually is important to you? And so I think that for me, there's a couple things in play where gratitude really shows up in a powerful way. Number one is truly taking the time to appreciate what you have. And so if you do hit an accomplishment, um, there's taking the time to look at everything you've accomplished to get there. Let me give you a weird example. So you know this, Hunter, but not everyone does. So I had a really long history with the Cutco knife company, right? Like I sold, this is a weird fact, I sold millions of dollars worth of knives, which is kind of crazy. And I was inducted into the Cutco Hall of Fame. So if you literally go to the knife factory, you will see my picture on a wall. Like that's how crazy this is. So they give you this big, I'm not wearing it today, but they give you this big gaudy ring with diamonds in it. It's like worth like $5,000. And I never wanted to wear it because I'm like, I'm not a big jewelry guy. And my friend, he said, no, you have to wear that because that is the reminder of every customer who hung up on you, every person who rejected you, every time that you were sick and didn't want it to work, but you did anyways. You've got to wear it to remind yourself of what you've gone through. So I think sometimes gratitude is actually remembering the journey. It's
Yeah,
remembering of what you've been through and what you accomplished, and helping yourself feel proud about what you did.
yeah,
So I do some like light coaching consulting, and if I'm working with a high performer who struggles with this, the big thing I say is that you have one journal action every day, not just to write what you're grateful for. I want you to write down one thing you are proud of yourself for having done today. And that's actually can sometimes be a harder question because when someone is perpetually discontent, what they're basically saying is nothing I'm doing is ever enough. So by saying, well, what are you proud of yourself for doing? It actually forces you to look at your life, even if it wasn't the best day in the world. Like, honestly, sometimes the answer to that question is, you know what? I got out of bed and I really didn't want to.
okay. And I was going to say, you're talking about for the day, not every day looking back at something in your life that you're proud of. You're saying today.
Well, it depends on how bad it is, right?
Yeah,
But if you're gonna make it, if it's someone who's like, I would say like maybe in a weird depressive spot, I would say do that. Like look at your
yeah,
life. Like what can you say you're proud of?
right.
But when you make it a daily activity, I would say like, hey, if I'm gonna give you something to go do for the next week, just write down, yeah, what you're grateful for, but write down what are you proud of yourself for? And that kind of starts to shift our energy towards like looking at, well, what did we do that we can feel good about? And that's a good little shortcut.
Love it. Can you like just thinking about our audience, right? I think there's I talk about like process versus purpose, right? And I think people have to have both. If you have a process, if you like, I have to appreciate my purpose or I can't do things. My point in asking you that is where I'm going with this is how would you agree that you have to have authentic gratitude in order to create a gratitude type of project that I want to talk to you about? Like, how do we scale gratitude in our business with business partners, with clients? But before you even go there, I think you have to authentically have gratitude for what you're doing. Do you think that's fair, or do you think people can fake it?
I think we can fake anything, but people can tell. Like I think there's a, you know, when you think, if I were to say, how do you look at this as a scale? I would say, how do you look at this as a system, right?
Yep.
How do you systematically do your thank you cards? How do you systematically do your gifting process? And I think that where a lot of people are a little backwards here, especially in their business, is they just didn't start the relationship off the right way. And so what I mean, and I couldn't tell you I was doing this at the time, but this really became like a framework of how I meet people. So when I would do the Mr. Thank You project, so part of the challenge was I had to write 5 cards every day. And one of the rules was they had to be to different people. So I couldn't keep writing them to the same people over and over. So it consciously made me have to look for new people every day. Well, as a salesperson, that's actually kind of a cool system because then it requires you to pick up the phone. It requires you to have conversations with your barista or people who are around you. But the question is, well, how do you have that conversation? And so what I learned, there's 3 things that I would ask them that would actually help me write them a really genuine card. But it was actually the 3 things that everybody needs to know about somebody to feel really connected. Right. So I call this the rapid relatability formula. So it's story, significance, struggle. Right. So if I'm meeting Hunter Marckwardt for the first time, we're at a real estate conference and we sit next to each other. Hey, man, nice to meet you. What's your name? Hunter, what do you do? Mortgage. Awesome, man. Hey, tell me your story. How did you get into that? How does somebody get into mortgage? Like, it's always fascinated. Then you would start to tell me about your life. Now, interesting thing, when people tell you about their story, they're inadvertently telling you about their decision-making process. They're telling you about things that they value and care about in their life. Well, especially if you're a salesperson and your goal is to help somebody make a decision professionally, it's good to know what this person truly cares about. You might learn about their faith. You might learn about that they're really close with their family. You might learn that they're not close with their family. You might learn about some of the reasons why they've moved or chose the job they have. That's part 1. Part 2 is significance, which is, so what are you excited about, man? Like, what are some of your goals? What are you looking forward to? If I'm talking to a buyer, right, I might say, hey, so tell me about this move. Like, what are you looking forward to? Like, what are you excited about in this new home? And then when people start to tell you about their goals, they get excited. Their energy goes up. And then you can start to hear about things. I call this like antennas up. I love to listen for really high energy and really low energy. When someone's super excited about something or actually really upset about something, because that's a great opportunity and place to connect. So, hey, what are you excited about? You might tell me about your sales goal that year. You might tell me about you moved to a new company. You might tell me about any number of things that would be valuable for me to know about you. 3, this is the part that most people miss in connecting with another person, is struggle. Which is, so, wow, it sounds like you got a lot of really exciting things coming up, Hunter. What's the hardest thing you're dealing with right now? Like, what's the biggest struggle in your business? Or you saw my email the other day, which was, the question was like, man, how can I pray for you?
Yeah.
And why that's such a powerful question that most people miss is because not many people know those struggles that we're dealing with. And the fastest way to be relevant to another human being is to solve their greatest problem. And so I love to know these things about any person because then it tells me how to be relevant to them. Now, if I'm going to write him a card afterwards, like we might meet at a conference and I'd be like, dude, super nice to meet you. Let's exchange emails or, whatever. I might send you an email. I might send you a handwritten card. Be like, Hunter, I just want to say, man, it was so great to meet you. And dude, I loved learning about like what got you in that room and kind of where you've been in your business and how much you've grown and having that big ambitious goal that you shared, like that's scary, but I can tell that you really want it. And man, when you were sharing with me that like the biggest thing you're struggling with is just lead generation, man, I've been there. And dude, if there's anything that I can do to support you with that, we've generated thousands of leads in our business. I'd love to continue our conversations and see how I can help you. So I talk about the pre-process because so many people they're like, yeah, I should write a card, but about what? Sure, I should send a gift, but what type of a gift? So when you start the relationship off right and you take copious notes, put them in your CRM, put them in your notes in your phone. Hunter, I literally have a note in my phone and it simply says new friends. So if I go to my kid's jujitsu studio and I talk to a parent and I'm kind of getting their story and I'm learning these things, I'm making notes. So the next time I see them, I might not write them a card, but I can continue the conversation where we left off. Yeah. I can talk about things that are relevant. I remember their kids' names. And that's like my subtle little system for how to
What do you call it? What do you call it?
What do you mean?
You said what's SSS?
Story.
No. Story, significance, and struggle, but you called it like rapid something.
Rapid relatability formula. So I say rapid because it's simple. It's 3 questions. Relatability. It helps me relate to them in a better way. It helps me understand them. And formula is just like something you can do literally every time, and it works.
So I'm just really hoping that everybody listening to this wrote down rapid relatability formula, story, significance, and struggle.
That's it.
Amazing. You just do that to do it. You're not like, I think that's something that people have. You and I talked about it just briefly before we jumped on here. Like, you don't need to have an agenda for everything we're doing, right? Like, just be curious about people, right?
So it's a really good point because you and I are both in sales, and we like Hunter. Have you ever been to like a networking experience or a happy hour, and you're talking to somebody, and they're asking you a lot of pointed questions, and you can kind of tell you're being prospected,
Yes, I hate them. I hate them.
right?
Yeah.
Right. I hate that too. And so I think for me, this process, it allows me to get to know someone without having any agenda present. And let me give you a great example. So there's a realtor in town. He's a big EXP agent here in Dallas, Texas, where I live. And he was at an event that I spoke at. So he's like, "Hey, let's get together." And we were both just having this conversation. And he's a very I never felt that way. I never felt like I was being prospected. But we were both asking each other lots of questions, getting to know each other, and it wasn't like a clear path for business. Like he had his gifting strategy. Like I obviously know thousands of realtors. Like I don't need a new realtor. So it wasn't clear that there was business. And I think for a lot of people, that's where they start to just drop a relationship. They think, well, if this person can't send me a deal, then they're not really valuable to me. I think that's a very short-sighted view of people. And
Uh,
because you never know who someone might be for you. So as an example, as we were talking and I go through the story of significant struggle, I hear him talk about his wife and he's really excited about his marriage. And I was like, tell me about your wife. You said her name is Trish. Like, what is like how did you guys meet? What's your story? And he goes into their relationship story, which is still one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. They were on a plane flight and they landed in Dallas, and they found out they happened to be sitting next to each other on the flight, and they come to find out that their airline goes out of business. They're at an airport now, delayed, don't have a flight to the next place because their airline's out of business. And so they spent a bunch of time at the bar together. They got to know each other. I'm like, that's a crazy story.
yeah.
So I take that. So this is where we'll pack this into the gifting side, right? So I like to think of gifting for like how can you make an artifact of an experience? How can you give somebody something that every time they pick it up, they think of you and the relationship? So and it doesn't have to be super expensive. So I went on vistaprint.com and I looked up coffee mugs that were like $15. And I looked up the name of the company that went out of business. It was called Mesa Airlines. Well, Google has pictures of everything. So I pulled the Mesa Airlines logo, put it on the mug, and then I added a little note on the back of the mug. Then all it said was a breakdown is simply the start of a beautiful story. And I sent two cups, one to him and one to his wife, with a handwritten thank you card, just telling him how much I love the conversation, how much I appreciated his love for his wife, how I'm looking forward to building a relationship with him. Hunter, this dude could not shut up about me. Like I went to a Rotary Club that I spoke at. He invited me to speak at his Rotary Club. He stands up. He's like, "You guys got to know John Israel, greatest gifter on the planet. Oh my gosh, tremendous speaker. You guys got to hire him." Dude, this guy has like directed so much attention in business back to me. Like that cost me $50 with tax and shipping, dude.
Yeah.
To build that type of a connection, that's crazy. So I think for me, most people really look at the business from the place of like, how do I get as many transactions as possible? And I think of it from like, how do I make every relationship as deep as humanly possible so that I can not just maximize what I can get, but so I can get to know this person better and we can authentically serve each other in a deeper way. I mean, you and I have a lot of friendships like that. I mean, you've sent more referrals to me, Hunter, I think, than any person I know. And also, I've sent you lots of gifts. We've had lots of conversations.
Amazing gifts.
And,
Yep.
I say this because like you're someone identified, like I want to get to know this person better. We align in values. We care about the same things. And you're someone who people love and respect. And I'm like, man, that's who I want in my corner. So I think for me, like when I think of gratitude, how do you make it systematic? It's like, sure, can I do that, Hunter, with every single lead that comes in my database?
No.
No, no. But I know who I want to work with. I know who my ideal client is. I know who I want to be friends with. So when I
Yeah.
meet somebody who fits those categories, I'm going to go all in on that relationship. And I think that's why we've been able to get the Mr. Thank You project like literally viewed by millions of people. I mean, now we've built like the business has completely evolved since we've really shifted everything.
I'm just going to go back to the simplicity because I personally think, and I don't mean to make this an AI conversation, but I think the need for personalization with where we're going with AI is more important than like, I think a handwritten thank you card is going to be more valuable in the future than it has been in the last 10 years. Do you feel that way? I mean,
Well,
you don't need to agree with me. I'm just curious.
Well, it's funny you say that because I know Gary Vaynerchuk, he talks about like he talked about advertisement, right? Like how advertisement dollars and the more current the medium, the higher the price, right? Television ads for a while were the highest ones. Now it's Facebook ads, and it keeps getting more and more expensive. He's like, you know what I'm actually considering, dude? You know it's gone super cheap? Radio ads. You can get traction with just radio ads because nobody's doing it. It's so cheap. Now, I don't think I would equivocate thank you cards to that because a lot of people just don't listen to the radio. Yeah. But I would say that because it happens so little, it's so much more greatly appreciated. And that's kind of what marketing differentiation is. It's like you want to do something in a way that other people don't, that separates you from the pack. And so, personalized card, a personalized email. Like what I love about you, Hunter, like just to highlight you for a moment, what you do better than most people I know is you write a blog every week about a personal life experience. Do you know how many loan officers that I get emails from and realtors that have the generic market update that their CRM automatically, that their company automatically gives them that has no personal value that I never open and look at? I get tons of those. But you know whose email I open every single Sunday is Hunter Marckwardt's, because you choose to make it personal. And I think that there is obviously a flash of AI, and I personally use it. I think it's great for some things, but there's some things you can't delegate to it.
Yeah.
And those are the parts that we need to double down on, increase our competency in. And I think that's where the opportunity is.
Okay. Just for the record, I don't use AI for Sunday Thoughts. I'll never use AI for Sunday Thoughts, period. Okay. So I want to talk, I know this is so tactical and basic, but I just think people miss it. Like the handwritten thank you card that says, "Hey, John, thanks for being on the show. Take care." Like, right. How do you get people, like, how do we get people listening to this to think that it is more important to take, like, you sent me a thank you card that was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing I've ever made. Granted, what it was on, but the time that I just wish we could get people to understand, take 3 to 5 minutes to make something count, as opposed to ripping out 10 because it's part of a task that someone is going to throw. Like, I have a drawer, actually. I can show everybody. Like, I have a drawer of thank you cards. I don't know what just happened to my camera. That just get really weird.
It just like closed up on an area because it thought you wanted to show them the drawer. There we go.
Okay, I'm like, you guys want to see my nose hairs? Okay, so, but I have a drawer full of cards that mean something to me, right? Like when I'm not in a great mood, when I need a little pick me up or something. So how do we talk to people about writing an impactful card instead of just the task of checking a box to tell your coach or whoever else that you ripped out 50 thank you cards this week?
Yeah, great question. So again, I like to go back to formulas and frameworks because that helps me do it consistently the same way and get a good result. So my formula for, we call it the ABCs of a legendary thank you note. Okay, ABCs: attitude, behaviors, challenges, right? So attitude is their character qualities: trusting, loving, patient, kind, courageous. Behaviors is like the doing, like what do they do? What do they do for you? What did they do? And by the way, that is most thank you cards are just the B. John, thanks for being on the podcast. Hey, client, thanks for sending us the referral. Here's $25 to Starbucks. Thanks for the thing. By the way, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but for your card to have impact and deepen relationship, to make it worth your time, you want to go a little deeper than just the behavior, right? C is challenges, which is, if appropriate, acknowledging any challenges that are relevant to the relationship or your previous conversation. So like as an example, and I'm actually remembering the first card I ever wrote you because we had a great conversation before you ever hired me to speak for your sales team. And I was asking you about like getting into the business and, did you go through 2009 and, what was that like for you? And so as an example, when I wrote your card, it was highlighting the things from that conversation. Like, Hunter, thank you so much for reaching out to connect with me to have me potentially speak with your sales team. I know there's so many speakers out there that you could potentially choose, but you're giving me the opportunity and that's a huge honor. And I also appreciate and respect the fact that you're a coach and that you're a leader and that you worked through one of the hardest times in real estate and are still here. And I just want to say that says a lot about who you are as a person, and I'm grateful to work with you. It might not be those exact words, but there's a lot of that was in there because I remember you telling me that. So why is that relevant to the person? So you could extrapolate that exact same thing to a client. Hey, dear client, thank you so much for choosing to work with me as your loan officer or your realtor. There are so many other options in the market that you could have chosen, but you chose me because your sister referred me, and I really am grateful for the trust that you put in me. And I just want to let you know that it's not going to be an easy road getting in this house or getting the loan. There's going to be imperfections across the board, or or things that happen. But I'm here to support you every step of the way, and I'm excited to help you get your dream home. Like there's just, if you can add some specific things to the conversation about, like, hey, when you told me about the story about your kids, when you talked about, moving here as an immigrant and like how hard that was, like, I want to highlight those things because what that tells a person is like, man, this person really pays attention. Let me give you like a weird, like, psychological understanding of why this is effective. My friend, the late John Rulin, we were talking about him a little earlier. So John Rulin is a founder of a company called Giftology. We're partners with them. We send him a lot of our gifting business. And he has this quote, which is, it's not the thought that counts, it's the thoughtful thought that counts. It's that ability to go a little deeper than most anyone will. And what happens is what everybody wants in the context of relationship is they want to feel like, if I'm in relationship with you, my life is better because I'm going to achieve what I want, or you're going to help me if I'm in trouble. And so when we can show up for people in unexpected ways that go above and beyond, they psychologically think, wow, they're going to be there for me when things are hard. They pay attention to little details. That's important when I'm thinking about a realtor or a loan officer. So while this might sound like a little semantics of like how to framework, structure, do a thing, it actually is teaching your clients that you're attentive in this relationship. You care about them. You're going to be there for them. And at the end of the day, that's what we all want inside of a personal or a professional relationship.
I also think people just have to understand it's like the win-win-win for all of it, right? Like, I mean, just you're taking the time to get to know a client, right? You're bettering yourself in your listening skills and actually hopefully having some empathy for whatever they're going through, and then they're winning because of what you're because you're asking the questions, because you're working on listening, it's helping them as well. It's just like, I mean, I don't know, it's crazy to me. So I love this stuff. So can you email that same thing, or does it have to be a handwritten card?
Well, so I think you can do an email. I think you can do a video. So what I would tell you is, like, after having done this project, it was actually back 2016 through 2017. I was exclusive to handwritten cards just for the simplicity of the system, right?
Yep.
Now I love video. I love email. I do BombBomb. I know some people have different versions of that out there, but let me give you a simple example. Here's what I would say. I think it's good to have tools for different situations. So, like, as an example, if I were to meet you, Hunter, and have coffee, and let's say we're having like a buyer's presentation, like I was talking about winning your business, and then I immediately sent you a video with all these things, like 30 seconds later, it would almost be awkward, wouldn't it? It's like, that's sort of weird. Like, you just,
I was hoping you were going to say that, as opposed to, this is a great strategy, send a video 30 seconds after.
It doesn't fit the format. But if we have a conversation like that, and I write you a handwritten card and I drop it in the mail that day, you get it 2 days later, and then it's like number one, you probably started to forget about me. Right. And then you pick it up, you open it, you're like, oh my gosh, wow, you remember all these things from our conversation. That was like a couple days. It hits better. Right. Now, as an example, if you're a friend that I just haven't talked to in maybe a year, maybe a handwritten card could work. But I might actually just like pull up my phone and just, I think I actually did this for you last year, a couple months ago.
I was going to say, you did it for me while you were walking, and randomly, I was in the grocery. Drew McMillan. It popped up on my screen. I haven't talked to the guy in 2 years. He's a client, and I missed it. And I just said, hey, Drew, man, I'm thinking about you. I hope you're doing great. We're in relationship, right? I mean, it's already, I'm going to take one. I want you to keep talking. I just want everybody to write, like, I'm thinking about the things that you're saying that are so important. And it's so much of this stuff is about, right? We got the purpose of why we're doing it, but then what's the process? And I think for people to be thinking about tools for just that in and of itself, tools for different situations, you're probably like, it's not a big deal with what I just said. I think everybody has to think about, what tool do you pull out for what situation, and being intentional about that, because it matters.
Totally. Yeah. So I think there's, and especially when, let's say you're in a tough market and you don't have a bunch of extra cash to spend on super nice swaggy gifts to ship out to all these people, man, a personalized video, I would say a simple email that if it's authentic and genuine and it goes through that formula, but it's personal, right? Like if it's a personal email of like, hey man, I was thinking about you. This is long overdue, but you know, you might not remember this, but back 2 years ago when this happened, I just never forgot how you responded to that. And, you know, I know things are tough right now and I'm just really trying to focus on gratitude and think about who I can appreciate. And you're just one of the people at the top of my list. And I just wanted you to know that. I mean, if I emailed you that, Hunter, that's still pretty impactful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I
It
don't think it
is.
has to be a card, and it's done quickly. Here's what I
Yeah.
love about video and email is the speed. Because
Yeah.
if I send people a video, I often get a response like via text. I get a response often within minutes.
Hmm.
So I think there's power in that. So I think it's just good. It's good to have different tools.
I love it. Who's the best gifter you've ever seen?
The best gifter.
Yeah.
Oh, the best gifter that I've ever seen. I don't know if I can think of it. I mean, my friend John Rulin was like the legend, right? Like he would gift, you know, like Ed Milet and Tim Tebow and like crazy people. I love actually just seeing different people who do things that are like wildly surprising, but very like specific. Um, so yeah, I've got a lot of different examples of that.
How much, I mean, this is such an impossible question for you to answer, but like if you think of successful people, right? How, what component of their, I mean, I call it, you know, we can call it gifting. To me, it's also gratitude, right? Like I want to work with people that, you know, I want to work with people that appreciate working with me, right? Like, and like,
Sure.
do people I know it sounds like duh, but truly, right? I mean, like if I give someone, there's people that I know that if I give them a referral, they're like, that's a little low on my price point, right? That's a little low. Like, it's like, God, really? Like, you don't want people to have that, like, you don't want to have that mindset with it. I don't want anyone having that mindset with me,
For sure.
you know? So, what, how important do you think it is to have a gifting and gratitude strategy?
How important is it? I think I would say depending on what your goals are. Here's what I know is that it's hard to build relationship with people who are above your pay grade. It can be, right? Because in some ways we connect with those that are most like us. And if I don't make multiple millions of dollars a year, it's hard for me to connect with a CEO who might. But we've done a lot of things to really wow and surprise people in ways that have them feel connected and seen better than anybody else. And we don't make nearly as much money as them. So I think in a lot of ways, it's finding ways to connect with them at a level that makes them feel really seen, understood, and valued. Let me give you a weird example. So I have a speaking coach. We were talking about this a little earlier. So I have a speaking coach that I work with. He's a Harvard professor. I read his book years ago. It's called Give Your Speech, Change the World. Great title. But his name is Nick Morgan. And somehow I sent him a friend request on Facebook years ago and he accepted apparently. Well, it turns out his birthday is on Christmas Day, which I'm on Christmas Day. Christmas presents are done. I'm looking through my Facebook. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's his birthday. So I sent him a private message and then I thought, man, I would love to work with this guy, but he's probably like a crazy expensive price. So I went on his website and I shot him a request to have a discovery call. We have a call. His price was high, but I could manage it. We started working together for about 6 months and does amazing work. It gets to a point where I'm like, man, this guy is like, he's someone special. Like, I want this guy in my corner. I don't like, I'm fine paying him, but like, I just want to know this guy at a deeper level. So I'm going through my process, you know, story, significant struggle, and he happens to have like a funny email. I won't say what it is, and not everyone starts
Yeah,
hitting him up. But
sure.
he has a funny email, and I asked him about it, and he actually said, it's a Lord of the Rings reference. He's like, because when I was in high school, that was my favorite book, and so anytime I was around, I would be reading Lord of the Rings, and my friends just started calling me Frodo. So his email has the word Frodo in it somewhere. So I thought, man, that's super cool. Like I said, we have a history working with the Cutco Knife Company, and so I've read the Lord of the Rings to my kids. Great book. And do you know much about the book, Hunter?
I do not.
Okay, so something very specific in the book is the names of the swords. The swords in the book, there's like Orc Chris, there's the ogre killer. It's not the right name, but like there's all these different names of the swords. So I get a set of five, and my coach gets newly remarried, right? So I get a set of Cutco knives, five different pieces, and I name them after every single sword in the Lord of the Ring, and I have them in custom engraved with that, and I ship it out to him with a handwritten card. And I just said, "Hey, Nick, I'm so grateful to be working with you. You've really impacted my business. I just want to say congratulations to you and your lovely bride. And when you guys get back from your vacation, I hope you guys enjoy this. Plus, I did a little ode to your fanaticism of Lord of the Rings, bro. Like through the roof." Takes a picture of it, is like, "John, this is one of the most thoughtful gifts." He's like smiling ear to ear the next time we have a conversation. And here's a crazy fact. We're now in a relationship of a mentoring relationship where I'm not even actively paying him for coaching, and he's actually mentoring me and apprenticing me in the art of speech writing. Dude, I I couldn't I couldn't afford that. Like what he's offering me now in access to knowledge. He let me speak at his class at Harvard last year. He's opened doors to connect with some of the biggest speakers in the planet because I took the time to be a little thoughtful, a little intentional, and send him something that says, "Hey, I see you. I honor you. I think you're a wonderful human being." And when you get to that level of expertise, we get a lot less of that, whether people are intimidated by it or what. But I think that's a way that you can truly accelerate your business, is learning how to identify great opportunities and then pouring into them with a really cool, unique gift. And it's not even that it has to be the perfect gift. It's how you approach it, the letter you write to it. It's how you message it. And that's what we do professionally, right? So it's a lot of fun. So anyways, those are my thoughts of like, how do you use this stuff strategically, is you look at it from the place of like, hey, where do you want to go in life? Who do you need to meet? Like, some people get so worried, like, oh, I need to be the best loan officer in the world. I need to be the best realtor in the world. No, you actually don't. You just need to have the best relationships. You need to have the right relationships with the people who are willing to open the doors. And Hunter, that's why I've been, forever grateful for our friendship. And I still text you to this day when I close a deal that I'm like, this is a referral from a referral from a referral that you gave me, because I want you to feel the gratitude that I have, because I have it. And I know that when we do express that gratitude, people just feel like, I want to give more to that person. And I think that if you can just build as much of your business like that, it just feels good. Because how does it feel when you get a referral from someone?
Feels great.
Feels
right?
great.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be appreciated for doing something nice for somebody? Just makes you want to do it again. So we can get into the psychology of it, or we can just simply say, hey, this works. So just go do it, and you're going to see the results.
Okay. We're wrapping up now. But what you just said is exactly how I feel. Like I do want to leave one thought, because there's a lot of big producers on here that have teams. And I thought about, I need to go back and bring this back in. But it was like I think I got it from the Ritz-Carlton, but like a few years ago, I basically gave like the team members didn't need to ask. They could spend whatever they wanted to spend when they were talking to clients. And if the client mentioned that they were going to Hawaii, whatever it is, like send them historical gear for their kids, right? Like just be on the lookout for, like, I think it's so important for us. I'm listening to you thinking that, talk about paying it forward. I want to invest like intentional gratitude discussions with my team so that we're on the lookout because of how important it is, right? And I mean, just talking to you right now, I think it's the way I think our businesses, real estate, mortgage, there's going to be a lot of process type of businesses that we won't be able to out process. We will always be able to out relationship the process type of people. And it starts with having a strategy around, I mean, I hate the word to say strategy around gratitude, because it just should be. But if you have a strategy around the gifting aspect of the gratitude, like that's the key, and that's what you do. I mean, what do you like, how do I pay you back right now? I mean, like, I mean, I know you wouldn't mind talking to our company, but I mean, like, gifting wise, I mean, like, how are you, what can I give you?
You're funny. Well, so you're always a generous player. So, well, here's what I can say is, like, here's how we help people. Like, so we really do two things, and two things super well. Number one is we do what are called client appreciation events. If it's a big real estate team and you've got a good book of business and you want to get your clients together for like a kick ass, it can be a family friendly type of a keynote that's going to add value and kind of blow their minds and get them all in the feels with gratitude. We crush that. We do that for clients. We also do that for realtor partners. If you're a loan officer and you want to put together an event, that's kind of how we initially got connected, Hunter, is we did
Yeah.
something for your realtor partners. And we love that. We built a ton of systems around how to make them successful. So that's one thing we're world class at. The other two is gifting. Like I'll be really like I'm giving you lots of fun examples of crazy one-off gifts, and I think that's like good to do. We don't necessarily do the one-off gifts. We make the gifts as systematic as possible. How we look at gifting for a system for your business is like the Cold Stone Creamery philosophy, which is for the most part, everybody loves ice cream, unless you're lactose intolerant, which is just sad. But for the most part, everybody loves ice cream. So we like to look at, hey, what's a gift that most clients will like? And then how can we just simply personalize it like they do at Cold Stone to make that person feel special? So we might use, like, we have a set of glassware that we work with. It's like the number one they're the number one recycler of wine bottles in the country. And so they cut the bottles down into glasses, and we personalize, and they can personalize it with the client's name on it, and you can send that as a closing gift. So every month, our loan officers or realtors send us like, hey, here's the spreadsheet, the system, right? Here's a spreadsheet of all of our deals for the month. Please send this gift out to everybody. We send that, we charge them. It's a system. We put a thank you card with it. It's done. That's what we specialize in, is just systematic gifting that you can just like set up one time. You don't have to worry about it again. We might use a Cutco knife as an example. And instead of putting your logo and phone number all over it, we would put handcrafted especially for, and then the husband and wife's name from the deal. So that when they get it, they open it, they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So,
And by the way, just real quick, for everybody that thinks you have to have your company's name on it, every time I cut a steak at my house, I think of John Israel because I've got knives that say the Marckwarts, right?
correct. Yeah. And you don't have to, I think it's a little, characterization of gifting that for them to remember you, it has to have your name. It doesn't. The way that a gift works is a gift is an artifact of the relationship. If it's done well, right? Every time they pick it up, they think of who gave it to them and they feel good. That's what we call in marketing psychology positive emotional resonance. When people think of you, what do they feel? And if they think of you and feel good, you're going to get way more referrals, you're going to get way more repeat business, and life is just going to be better for you. Right. So again, our gifts aren't any more expensive than what most people do. They're typically between like $100 to $200. Like that's a standard. They can get pretty expensive. Maybe that is a lot for some people. I don't know.
Well, hey, I mean, if you're making somewhere between, $2,000 and $25,000 with a client, you could probably afford to do that, or you should,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah, and
Right.
so that's pretty much what we do. So if you want gifting for your business, if you want to put together a kick-ass event for your clients or referral partners, like, man, we are here to help you, and that's something we do, I think, better than most anybody.
And how do people get a hold of you?
MrThankyou.com. That's MrThankyou.com. I will
All right.
warn you, okay? So there are two Mr. Thank Yous in the world. We are the original. We own the website. We have the IP. We're getting everything trademarked. There is a crazy Russian influencer also calling himself Mr. Thank You on Instagram, and he gives away fake money to followers, and he always is wearing like a crazy suit with a half-naked girl on his back, throwing money in the air. So you'll notice a difference if you look us up online. I'm
That's
usually
not
hanging
you.
out with my wife and kids, and we have chickens in the background, or there's like a crazy Russian influencer. You should be able to tell the difference, but
I love it.
just in case.
John, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. This was great. For everybody listening too, if you need additional information on Impact, it is impactelitecoaching.com. They can help you with anything you need. So, John, this is special, brother. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it, as I'm sure everyone does watching.